I was a guest at the special edition show in June, and apparently I was a beloved figure there. And they decided to go again, and typically they invited me because I was so wonderful on this panel I did, but nobody booked me for a panel. So here I am, sitting on my fabulous fat ass, having a fabulous time, and enjoying the company of other comic book fans. I'm an enthusiast myself, at a New York show, and I haven't done a huge New York show in so long. This is a treat.
Awesome. So, what are you working on right now?
Right now, I'm at that fabulous point where I'm off on a major trip. I'm out here. I got nothing hanging over me. I just finished the Shadow #6, Midnight in Moscow for Dynamite. I'm going to be starting the final arc of Satellite Sam in about a month and a half, and I'm writing a 5-issue miniseries for Image called Midnight of the Soul, which I'll be drawing in the winter. And a bunch of other cool stuff. I'm hoping to get a contemporary espionage piece going with Nathan Edmondson. I can write period stuff of that world, but I cannot write contemporary Olin Scheinhauer kind of stuff. And I love that sort of thing. Charles Cummings. And Nathan is an enthusiast for this, and I'm anxious to work with him. I really would like to try that out. And of course there'll be a Black Kiss 3, because I'm, what the hell.
Are there any other East Coast shows you're thinking of doing, or maybe like smaller venue things like I know the Museum of Comic Art. Was it the Music of Comic Art? The Society of Illustrators. Or like the Society of Illustrators did a recent thing with Brendan Graham.
The problem is I was supposed to do a night with this past year, and I screwed up so royally I blew it. I've been a member of the society since before you were born, and I actually I called them this morning. For 2 of my colleagues are in town. I was going to buy them lunch, and they're close to the public today, so the society's back and forth. I haven't been available for them. It's too far a shot, and they tend to decide to do stuff too soon in too short a time window for me to make arrangements. I mean, for example, I was invited to a few shows yesterday. In both cases, they were far enough ahead in the future that I can make arrangements. I can plan my schedule. And I learned a valuable lesson this summer. I went to a show. I was away for too long in the UK. When I came home, I was running late on everything I was working on, and I really wrecked myself, physically and spiritually. I made the time back, but it was really, really an ass kicker. So it was a lesson learned and invaluably learned. So as far as I know, I'm not booked for anything in the East Coast in the near future. But I'm doing a bunch of Europeans. I do a lot of Euro shows.
Awesome. Any differences between, because we know you live on the West Coast now, any differences kind of between, I guess, like the cultures of the shows you do there versus on the East Coast?
Well, I don't do a lot of shows in California. I mean, I used to do WonderCon when it was in San Francisco. The WonderCon when it was in San Francisco was very much a destination show for professionals. It was a show we all liked visiting because it was a great town. It was a place we'd all get together for massive dinners every night. When they moved to Anaheim, it lost its appeal. And I do San Diego only grudgingly. I was there for 1 day this year because friends of mine had guilted me into coming down and have dinner. And it was awful. I mean, I'm not fond of it. It's as big and rambling as this is much more civilized than the San Diego show. Also, because they've got Artist Alley set up in a room of this size, it really does feel like a comic book convention as opposed to a media show. So if I do shows in the States, I do Baltimore every now and then. I do Minneapolis, St. Paul, which is a great show. SpringCon is dynamite. And I've done some Midwestern shows, but most of the shows I do are European. And I'm a huge fan of Mark Waters' shows in Texas. Mark runs a great show in Dallas, and consistently a wonderful convention. Well, I did not come to a comic book convention until I was a professional, because I grew up in New York City. And back in those days, comics conventions were all on the 4th of July weekend, which were slow news days. And inevitably, the Channel 7 News would send a reporter down, and the subtext of what he said was, "Do you believe that people are spending real money for this crap?" I mean, that was what they were saying. And it looked to me like there was an unsavoriness about it. So I didn't go to a comic book convention until I was a professional. And in those days, it was much more casual. I did a lot of drugs. We smoked a lot of dope. We drank a great deal. And we hung around the hotel. It was all in a hotel. It was not in the convention center. And now, of course, it's much more corporate. It's kind of like airports. You know, airports used to be, when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, we'd all go out to LaGuardia Airport to chase girls and get fucked up and run around. Now, of course, security has kept it down. Conventions are now, I mean, the idea that I've got this click-in, click-out badge for security here, it's kind of insane. But I guess that's the modern world in which we live. You know, so that's been a major change in the difference, I guess.